Residential market analysis and highest and best use. Chapter 1, Market Fundamentals, page 37. Bundle of rights. In defining some of the different types of value, we have mentioned the interests of the owner/occupant relative to the value of the property. One must remember that when valuing the property, the appraiser is really appraising the rights or interests associated with ownership. One of the essential factors for the appraiser to determine is the rights of ownership, or the owner's bundle of rights. Is the bundle of rights intact for the property being appraised? Are there leases which will affect the value of the property? Are those leases short-term or long-term? Are there easements, encumbrances, or encroachments which could affect the property value? Are there partial holdings and interests? And to what extent would they affect the value of the property? Are there any restrictions on the use of the property, either government imposed or private? The bundle of rights or property interests are commonly considered to include the right to sell the property, the right to lease or rent the property, the right to use or demolish the property, the right to give it away, the right to enter or leave the property, the right to refuse any of these rights. And there is an acronym in between all those. Remember the acronym: SLUGGER. S for sell, L for lease, U for use, G for give, E for enter, R for refuse. If a property is said to have all of these rights intact and not restricted in any way, the property is owned in fee simple. Fee simple ownership is better described as the best form of ownership one can have in real estate. It is the highest and best form of ownership, with all rights intact. Fee simple also indicates that the property is completely unencumbered. An opinion of value can be directly related to the presence or absence of the rights of ownership for the individual property. A loss of some of these rights can impact the property value. The appraiser's opinions of value must consider the limitations of these rights due to their absence or the nature of the restriction relative to the optimum use of the property being appraised. Class discussion problem. Let's consider an assignment to appraise a single-family property in a primarily owner-occupied neighborhood. The neighborhood is zoned for single-family use, and there is no atypical restrictions for the use of the property. The subject property is owned by a military service member who is stationed overseas. The owner is not returning to the area and has requested the property be placed on the market and sold. The property is leased to a local family through a property management company at $1,900 per month. The lease has 18 months remaining, and the tenants have not expressed an interest in purchasing the property as they will be departing the area at the end of the lease. Similar owner-occupied properties in the neighborhood are currently selling for $340,000 with a marketing time of 30 to 45 days. The property management company has requested an appraisal of the rental property to advise the owner of its present probable value for marketing purposes. The appraisal will be used by the real estate agent to market the property. Conventional mortgage financing is available in the market with an 80% loan to value. Define the problem and determine an appropriate scope of work for this assignment. What kind of value will the appraiser be trying to determine? Suggested solution. Defining the problem involves 6 items. Identify the client and intended users. identify the intended use, identify the purpose of the assignment, the type of value, identify the effective date of value, identify relevant property characteristics and assignment conditions. The case study gives only enough information to answer property characteristics. Single-family property in owner-occupied neighborhood, and we can assume the date of inspection as the effective date of value. Absent other information, we would presume the type of value is market value, but the appraiser always needs to verify this. The interest to be appraised is the least fee interest as it is currently encumbered by a lease for 18 more months. Thus, the value would be the market value of the least fee interest. The scope of work would require selection of the appropriate approaches to value, which is the case, which in this case will be the sales comparison and income approaches. The sales comparison approach will analyze comparable single unit rental properties. The income approach will analyze the income stream derived from the rental of income producing single unit properties. End of page.